So, I want to have real talk about sales in your business for a moment, especially for those of you that run service based businesses. If you've been avoiding your to do list right now, if you've been stuck in research mode and you're just trying to get it perfect and you're trying to get it right, whether you're selling to directly to consumers or to other businesses and you're like, it's still just not right. If you have watched every sales webinar, I will always raise my hand on this one, but you still haven't sent the email, I want to share with you something that you're not going to hear on those other type of videos. You're not lazy. You're not flaky. And you're not uncoachable for the record either. What it is you're probably stuck in survival mode. Your nervous system is trying to protect you the best way that it knows how. And the way that it's doing is it's showing up and causing havoc in your business because you're not making the money that you want to make, but it is keeping you safe. And I want to unpack what's really going on here. And then more importantly, what you can do about it. Because if you don't get at the root of what's going on right now, you're never going to see the type of revenue come in your business that you and I both know that you can earn in your company. So I want to talk about a cycle for a minute that I often see among many brilliant, underestimated women. You hit a dip in income, right? You've been selling or you've been out there, you're going to a few events, you're going to networking events, you land some clients, you're selling, things are okay. And then you hit a dip in income, right? Something happens where you're going along steadily. And then one month, the income just dips. And then there's another month and there's no invoices coming in and you panic. Now, if you haven't been in this position before, even if you have been in this position before, your typical response is probably going to be, all right, let me just push through. Let me just try to figure out a way to go out there and send out more emails or go to more events or talk to more people. But there's often something inside here that's like, no, I don't want to do that. And then the spiral starts. And then you have the voices going on in your head. I know I've had them. Oh my gosh, Maya, you should be further along in your business by now. Or why is this so hard? Like, I see other people out there making a ton of money. Like, why am I not making that in my business? They seem to be living their best life and not putting in all these hours. Like, what is the deal going on? Or my personal favorite one, everyone else is figuring it out, but I can't figure it out. So I want to highlight something that's often not discussed. This, my friends, is not a strategy problem in your business. This is not saying that the offer that you're making or the clients that you've identified, that there's something wrong with the strategy around it. What it is that you are stuck in a shame loop that is disconnecting you from your power. Yes, I said it, from your power. And there's a lot of hidden things around sales a lot of times that we don't get to talk about out loud. And if you've never really worked on a sales team before where they brought in professionals to talk about it, you may not even know what's going on. But what you're doing is every single time that you get into a panic and you're getting nervous and you're not really sure, or it just feels uncomfortable going out there pitching again and again and again, you stop trusting your voice. You stop trusting your offer. You stop trusting your ability to follow through. And then you don't sell confidently, even when you need the money. I'm going to repeat that one again. Even when you need the money. And listen, we're not going to throw any shame in here. I'm going to share with you a story, a transformation story, actually, of a client. I've had this happen a few times, so I'll just pick one client in particular that I've watched this experience go on a number of times, right? So this is a client. She came from a nonprofit background. She wanted to start her own professional services business. Super smart woman, right? Like, has her degrees, has worked for a number of years, knows her craft, truly heart-centered, does the work for the people that she really, really cares about, right? She's doing a lot of coaching work. Now, when we first met, she only had a few clients, but she had really big dreams of how much money she was going to bring into this business. But she was constantly in this start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. She'd get clients coming in for a period of time. She'd promote it. And then there was always this gap that would show up. And look, sometimes it's just, that's business sometimes. Like, gaps show up. You always have sales cycles of up and down, but sometimes it's you're promoting it and things start to pop up. So one of the areas that she was dealing with is that she would post the offer and then nobody would respond. And that, in a weird way, for her was harder than if somebody said no. Like, at least if someone says no, you have something to work with, but nothing, like crickets, nobody talking to her, nobody responding, nobody saying yes. And so she would get really nervous and internalize all of that. And then she wouldn't promote her own business. And look, It's not because she didn't care. Are you kidding me? She loved this work. But what kept happening is that quiet, that nobody acknowledging her presence, that no one showing up and saying, yes, I'm interested, or even, no, I'm not interested, but here is why. It felt like that thing inside of her, like, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, I'm not good at this. I don't belong here. This is not where I'm supposed to be at. Now, we dug into this quite deep. We had a number of conversations for me to be able to get to the source of what was going on. And the story I'm giving you right now took the course of a couple of conversations to really get underneath the hood and understand what was really happening. And what we found out is it really wasn't about her marketing. Like a lot of times we think, oh, well, I'll just go post on social, or I'll just go, send out another email or make another call and then things will change. It actually had nothing to do with her marketing. It had to do with her nervous system freezing every time she had to put herself out there. She would say something and put it out there, and then nobody would respond, and she would just get frozen, right? Like that's unfortunately a common thing that happens, but sometimes you don't even realize and you're not even present to what's going on. So what we did is we identified what were the actions that usually would show up right before she was about to freeze. And for every person that is thinking about this right now, if this pertains to you, if you're like, hey, I've actually had that happen, I want to challenge you to like really think about the last 2 or 3 times that you did pitch. Now that's the key. You got to pitch. So if you're not actually asking for the sale, that's a whole nother conversation. But if you're asking for the sale, nobody's saying anything, and then you start freezing when it gets time to go to pitch again, that's a clear place where you can actually do some work and build your own sales plan. So for her, we built a custom doable sales plan that was rooted in her strengths. There were no cold DMs, there were no bro funnels, like none of that stuff. It fit the way she delivered her services best and the way that she felt comfortable being able to make her offers. And very slowly but surely, and then setting up certain plans and goals and milestones and working with me, we got her back in the seat again where she was confident about pitching. She felt much more calm. Even when people weren't saying anything or giving her a response, she would just go back out there again and talk to other people because she had a way to sell that didn't activate her shame. That's really at the root of what was coming up before, is that she kind of felt shameful about having to ask someone for money related to these services, even though she and I both knew that what she was delivering had some major value. And look, this is something that most people don't realize. Like most of us don't go to school and study neuroscience, or we for sure, when we start a business, most of us don't get sales lessons. I think that's one of the missing things that I know is missing right now from this industry and entrepreneurship is no one's teaching us how to sell. You either know it or you don't know it. And look, there's a lot of tactics that go into sales. There's also a lot of emotions that go into sales, and it's a really physical game. Your body is wired to avoid danger. So if sales feels like it's dangerous to you in any way, shape, or form, you ain't doing it. You're not going to show up. You're not going to ask. You're not going to follow up. You're not going to put the offer out there because you feel nervous about it. And look, I'll speak directly to those of you that define yourself as underestimated. When you're an underestimated entrepreneur, are you kidding me? The shame and the avoiding danger is even bigger in terms of how we show up in the world, right? Like asking for money or being visible. I mean, I can think of a number of times where in the past where I've had to ask for money, right? I don't have triggers asking money, for example, from large companies, but sometimes when I have to talk to individuals, it's like, it just feels awkward and uncomfortable, right? And I don't know how to be able to deal with that. Why? There's always a host of reasons for all of us as to what happens. You might have had past experiences of rejection. There might be internalized beliefs about your worth or the fear of being too much or not enough, right? One of my favorite examples of sales is just watch the next time that you see a group of kids selling Girl Scout cookies or selling something for their school. There's always like one or two that are like, I got this, let's do this. And then there's a host of other kids that are there. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to feel. Well, the large part of it is we in society give them very few opportunities to show up and use their voice and pitch and feel comfortable being able to say, hey, do you want this? Is this something you're interested in? And leave it totally open-ended. So if you have one or two of those experiences as a kid, and definitely as an adult, where I argue it's even harder, at least as a kid, if you have those experiences of rejection, you kind of figure it out. You're like, oh, bad day, I'll figure it out and I'll do something different next time. But if you have those experiences of rejection as an adult, right? If there are any internalized beliefs about your worth and your value, or the offer's worth and the value, and for the record, those things are very often hidden. I'm here to tell you, I don't care how many degrees you have, I don't care how much of an expert you are at things, there's often these little hidden triggers that show up when you get ready to pitch. And you could be sitting in this place where you freeze up. It's not laziness, y'all. It's not. It's a nervous system shutdown. And I wish we would do more about being able to really unpack this conversation and have a really honest moment to look at it. If you're not showing up enough and you're freezing when it happens and you're trying, but you can't show up enough, it's a nervous system shutdown. Got it? And if you don't know that's what's happening and what's going on, you're going to blame yourself. You're going to try even harder, and then you're going to burn out and wonder, like, why is this thing not working? Why is everyone else out here doing the darn thing and I'm not? So for those of the data nerds out there that are like, all right, Maya, this is all good and dandy, but like, let's get back to how we get some more money coming in here. I got you. I do want to also back this up with some data. There's a study by Fast Company that found that 67% of women entrepreneurs reported feeling inadequate or unsure about how to grow their businesses, even when they were already generating revenue. And I want to emphasize that, even when they were already generating revenue. And then, according to the American Psychological Association, prolonged financial stress triggers survival responses that reduce your ability to make long-term strategic decisions. Now, what does that mean in plain English? When the money gets tight, your brain cannot focus on growth. You are focused on day-to-day survival. You just need to get through the day. Now, compound this if you're an underestimated woman, right? So if you have multiple identities, you're an intersectional person that identifies with a number of things that in this society are often seen as like, let's toss them over to the side. You are wired for survival. That's how you show up every day, because you have to get through the day. So you're always focusing on, all right, how do I do this? How do I do this? And you're not able to think that long term, feeling safe, being uncomfortable putting yourself out there. So I need you to reframe this. You're not broken, guys. This is not really what's going on. You just need a new plan. And I want to emphasize, another Canva template ain't going to help you. I love me some Canva, but another Canva template ain't going to help me. Another course on Reels or something else on social media, that's not going to help you. You probably do need to do some work on your marketing. We all do. That's always an ongoing theme. But I promise you, that's not what the core of it is. What you need is you need to sit down and do the work to create a sales plan that honors where you are right now. What are the sales skills that you bring to the table? How are you showing up right now where it's being successful and areas where it's not being successful? What is the energy that you have to show up with right now? What does that look like, right? Are you raising young children where you don't have a ton of time and energy, or maybe you're a caregiver and you don't have a ton of time and energy, but you need the money right now? Or maybe you're like me, right? I tend to work really well in the evenings, but then a lot of times people are not available in the evenings to be able to do things. So I need a sales plan, and you need a sales plan that works with your energy, not against it. That's why I don't like people duplicating my sales plan or anyone else's in my group, because it has to be your plan. It has to work with your energy and how you show up. And you need to find a way to give yourself small, doable steps that build trust with your clients, your prospective clients, and you over time. Because here's what I believe, y'all. You don't need more motivation. That's why you started a business. You don't need more motivation. You need a strategy that's built for your nervous system that's been through a few things. And far too often, we're being given these plans that fit for someone who hasn't necessarily dealt with some of the life challenges that we've dealt with, right? It's not a judgment. It's not a bad thing. It just is what it is. So you need something so that you feel kind of able to be able to show up how you feel confidently, with value, with worth, with the limited amount of time and resources that you have. And when you sell like someone who's healed, you're going to watch what's going to happen. People will be attracted to that vibration. I'm going to use that actual woo-woo word there. They will be attracted to that vibration. They will be interested in wanting to be able to show up and help you and serve your business and help themselves in the process. And it shows up in a very different way with your bottom line revenue. So listen, before you open up another tab or you download another freebie, I know you probably got like 20 videos right now that you got stacked up right now that you need to be able to go watch. I want you to pause and ask yourself this question, okay? Take out a sheet of paper, grab your phone, do a voice note. I want you to reflect on a few questions for me, all right? Question number one. When was the last time that I felt calm and confident while selling? Think about that for a moment. When did I feel calm and confident while selling? Question number two, what would it feel like to build a sales system that I could actually follow through on without stress or shame? And number three, what's the first step that I need to take in the next 30 days? Now, spend some time thinking about that, right? Journal about it after you watch this video. Watch the video though, get to the end and see if some of those questions and answers help you just loosen up a little bit more, or an aha appears for you and you're like, wait a minute. That's what it is. That's why I'm having challenges right now being able to sell. This is your sign for you to keep going. But you've got to take time to build some awareness around what's going on, how it shows up for you. And then this time, the next time that you get ready to pitch, you do it with a lot more grace and you don't feel pressure around it. Now, listen, if this video resonated with you at all, I want you to invite you to my upcoming free workshops. Every month, I do a workshop where I'm diving into this topic and other tactical topics around sales because I want to give you the exact systems that I use to help my clients build revenue without shame, stress, or survival mode selling. Now, if you're not ready for the interactive workshop right now, that's totally fine too. I've got some other free resources that are underneath this link, and I encourage you to subscribe for more videos on this topic to support you with your next steps around understanding how to be able to make more money, how to be able to sell more without dealing with that survival mode selling, which always has you in a panic mode. So listen, come as you are. Leave with your own personal plan. And I definitely recommend you check the links below this video today. All right, have an amazing one.